Maybe you don't believe it, but it's springtime in the Canadian Rockies, where even the most expert of skiers can still find all the perfection and regal splendor of the winter season's final majesty. Each member of our little band of visiting Eastern experts has come a long way to find skiing in its purest form, skiing for the love of it. Here in Alberta's dramatic high country near Banff, the party starts its first climb of the day. The star of our party is Miss Lucille Wheeler of Canada's famous Laurentian ski land, the first North American skier to hold the world's championship crown. Next, we present Charette, the premier pedagogue of Western world ski instruction. The other experts in the party are Miss Mimi Seguin, Jim Logan, Jerry Johnston, and yodeler Colin Grace. Each of these enthusiasts is a virtuoso on the hickories in his own right. It's certainly true that the modern trail skier is no willing advocate of Shank's mare escalation, but out here, things are different. It's only by this slow climbing process and by careful observations on the part of the leader that he can improvise a plan for a safe but challenging descent. And of course, you can't expect to develop stamina and leg power while riding a cozy mechanical lift. This forced march upward is usually a short affair, commonly called Operation Bootstrap, for it literally pulls all the kinks, tangles, and jangles from yesterday's cramped muscles. Just look at those smiles. This country is so fascinating you can almost taste it. It's far too dazzling for the eyes alone. Skiers must seem funny to ordinary people. They're never happy at the bottom or at the top of a run. Shangri-La must be somewhere in the middle. Skiing like this brings us to the very crest of human performance. Here we have the grace of the dance combined with the thrill of high-velocity motion through a world of white diamond dust. It's ghostly stuff, this gliding along by an unseen power where the only reality is your ski tips. This may not be an art, but it certainly looks like an ingenious ballet set to the pull of gravitation. With the fall line temporarily flattening out, our flexible flyers are forced to change pace with a bit of ski skating. Dropping into a narrow gully, our weaving line picks up speed with the help of a new poling procedure called wadeling. Only the slow-motion camera can help us reveal the form and beauty of this springing technique so essential for unexpected takeoffs and landings. Mimi seems to be in trouble. Yes, sir, it's a dumperoo. But in open country like this, experts usually clobber with safety, if not with downright ease. After a short mid-morning break, Real's Eagles are ready for their morning lesson. Yes, even world's champions like Lucille Wheeler must practice fundamentals daily to keep their sharpness of edge. Though the practice slope is never far away, our girls just can't resist the temptation to ride the little red wolf wagon. That proves it. Chivalry is far from dead. While the girls were hitchhiking a ride up in the ski scooter, the boys were toting their skis and poles for them the hard way. Nearly all ski school authorities agree that the snowplow is fundamental to every skier, regardless of his experience or ability, because most ski mechanics emanate from this beginner's maneuver. The snowplow allows the skier to combine his body weight with his ski edges to control slow speeds and change his direction of movement. The next important maneuver in training technique is called the Christiania, or Christie for short. It's the expert's way to check high speeds, make quick turns, and to effect sudden stops. The inside ski is lifted and placed parallel to the outside ski by pivoting on the ski pole. The turning is done by the body weight rising up, then shifting sideways and lowering at the finish. Taking a hill by its direct fall line is called straight running. The knees are bent slightly and relaxed. The head and shoulders lean forward to keep a low center of gravity at ski center. Real next shows us how the skis are set a half boot length apart for traversing or descending at a lesser grade and angle than the fall line of the slope. Now let's watch Lucille Wheeler demonstrate this traverse running technique. See how the weight is carried on her left or backward downhill ski. However, when racing speed is desired in the traverse, the body crouches and leans forward more, while the poles are carried under the arms, high and clear. Our ski master's next maneuver is the tricky stem Christie. Stemming means partial braking, so you first stem with the uphill ski or assume a half snowplow position. Then the weight is shifted to the stemming ski, and the other ski is lifted and placed parallel to the stemming ski, thus ending in a new direction at slower speed. Big, tall skiers like Jim Logan often find their stem Christie hard to make smooth, but our Jim is an exception. Skiing is usually a pretty fair moderator where human anatomy is concerned. The weight and power of the big skier is usually offset by the speed and dexterity of the lighter, smaller skier. Real Charette seems ideally blessed with all the attributes for the best in skiing style and performance results. Lucille Wheeler is a natural athlete, born and developed in Canada's great Laurentian ski country. Moreover, she's also well fortified with all those intangible qualities that produce top-flight sporting competitors. Once a skier becomes sure-footed and confident, he develops his Christies to a more fluid, parallel form. The skis are held parallel throughout the maneuver. Some experts insist that this type of Christie is more natural, therefore easier. Our yodeling friend, Colin Grace, lives up to his name in this parallel business. And nobody's going to outdo Big Jim when it comes to turning out Christies for neatness and dispatch. Now, Lucille will give us the lowdown on her famous outside pole poling turns. Her extra busy pole work can save the time needed to win many slalom races. Also, her extra poling practice produces smoother and greater flowing power without jerks and halts. With more confidence, a skier can tune up his Christies to more rapid execution, like tail wagon or wadeland. Lucille and virtually all top skiers and national racers today use wadeland, which is a light-footed dance down the hill in which the skis and legs seem to do all the work in seeking out the easiest path, while the pronounced rotation of the upper body has been cut down, delayed, or eliminated. The skis are displaced rapidly from side to side, supported by strong pole action. Because Miss Wheeler is a wizard with her stick work, she naturally handles wadeland like she was born to it. Wadeland is the logical outcome of the search for the fastest and most effortless way to ski through the countless bumps and ruts, or moguls, found on modern ski runs and racing courses. Lucille, with adroit help from her poles, guides her skis from trough to trough between the moguls just as gracefully and instinctively as a bird uses its wing. Let's check Real's technique now for accuracy. Watch him pinpoint his turns as he skis through a series of open slalom gates placed vertically down an open slope. Our first lady of modern racing ski technique is certainly no flash in the pan. She's built her style and developed her stamina in a slow but sure and natural manner. Her world title proves that North Americans have arrived on a par with our Alpine brothers. Slalom courses are always set in a way to make them difficult for the best of skiers. It's grueling hard work and never gets easy, but it certainly develops ski ability faster and better than downhill practice. Our band of Fleetfoot wonders are about to set up a slalom practice course. Slalom racing emerged from the European practice of placing flagpole gates at the entrances of dangerous runs on a downhill racing slope. By setting the gate posts at difficult angles, the racers were forced to slow up at these dangerous spots or lose the race. This was a clever way to keep accidents down and yet maintain a fair race. Soon after 1930, skiers began practicing their own difficult gate setups to see if they could beat the time loss caused by these gates. Then this artificial precaution was turned into an actual race composed of various combinations of gate settings. Slalom racing is keen sport for the skier, if not the spectator, and it soon separates the champs from the chumps. Real is setting up a tough series of narrow, closed, straight gates. Slalom skiers race against time through the gates with penalties applied against those missing them. Our designer is going to give it the first try. Slow motion makes it look real easy, but don't be fooled. speed shows the precision of action needed here. Now let's watch Miss Wheeler skin through the door jams. Notice her adroit handwork in alternating action with her ski movements. In normal speeds, the hip action is not unlike the hula dance. Jim's action from a reverse view also looks clean and neat. Let's observe Lucille again, this time from a side angle. Notice how she uses her poles more than the men skiers do. This may look like the conga line, but with skis on, it's a dance of a different caliber. Now this is what I'd call cutting a polar bear rug on the bias with square scissors. Man, oh man, these snowcats sure are far gone and way out too. I'd say they're the mostest of the real cool. Stepping things up a bit, the closed gate flush is changed into two parallel flushes. From this slow motion action, you can readily see why slalom practice is the one and only shortcut to the expert skier's class. Sometimes it's fun to take the poles away during a run to see if your mind is more on your skiing than the gates. Thus, the action is revealed as synchronized Wadlin, timed by orientation and rhythm. Well, whether it worked or not, it was a good trick anyway. After a light lunch and a forced siesta, our ski addicts are pulling their cable bindings and long linears to be off for the major climb and run of the day. They're off and heading for sky country, far above timberline. That's their target for the day, the aptly named Redoubt Mountains, which are most forbidding and awesome in their winter grandeur. In ideal ski country like this, no one minds a hike because there's so much to see. As our party goes up, the temperature goes down, but not seriously so. You see, our Rockies, like the Alps, do not take the skier to enervating altitudes. These mountains are tall, but they start nearer to sea level than do other parts of the Rockies system. Also, these spectacular peaks have many smooth and gradual ramp-like approaches. Only 9,000 feet of elevation in these parts will put you well beyond timberline. Looks like our friends are already above the shrubbery zone and heading for outer space. The topside's got to be around here somewhere because we're already looking into the faces of side peaks. breaking out on top at last. A breathtaking view greets all eyes for 100 miles in every direction. Huge ice and stone giants seem to pierce the sky. The great valleys below appear fantastic and unreal. The air itself has a freshness as though completely untouched by any previous contact with Earth. Climbing up is so different from running down that practically everything's got to be changed for the reverse action. Sealskin runners must be removed, bindings and linears reset, and a flock of minor adjustments made before starting down. All hands are fit and eager to make ready without a rest after their long pull to skyward. You know, despite all this magnitude of scenic awe and splendor, I've got a feeling our snow etching artists have even bigger thrills on their minds in this, their 0 hour of great anticipation. There they go, dropping off on a magic carpet of glacial glaze, with every nerve alert and muscle relaxed, and all eyes peeled for the best trackage. In the broader, well-packed spots, our ski revelers hit the light fantastic in a series of great linked turns. All speed and power is tested by controlled speed from the fall line. Swooping into some checking flatbacks, each flyer straight runs to hold the sharpest fall line and preserve all possible momentum. Now the grades are varied, steeper and more deceptive, but our friends are displaying good control without too much braking action. Here's where the leader earns his rank. A bad choice of footing could easily turn this flying column into a batch of scrambled eggs. Now, a hidden ledge brings out a fine display of action jumps. Held to an irregular but confining course, the party now employs the somewhat new Wadeland technique. Now the fall lines are short but sporty. The last plateau calls for the skater's waltz. Pouring into the home lane stretch, our ski joyers suddenly go into evasive turning action at the sight of the chalet below. Though tired and tuckered, they fiddle and faddle sideways, hoping the end of the ride will never come. Thanks for looking, folks. It was nice to have you with us. Now, before they put these big, bold Rockies to bed, Lucille and Real and their friends want you to remember that ski joying is really for everybody. everywhere they're skiing. Just ask your nearest ski instructor. He'll be glad to prove it. So long.